Hey there, memory keepers. Welcome to another process video. My name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Canada. And every Monday I've been trying to come to you with a scrapbooking process video for my Memory Keeping Monday feature on my blog. So today I've got these two photos of my sweet daughter, who is now 21. She was only, I think she was only a year in these photos, or just shy of a year. And we had gone over to Europe to visit my parents who lived there at the time. And from there we went on a holiday, on a hot holiday. And it was just her and I. My husband had to stay home. He wasn't able to take time off. And the picture is of her eating a little piece of bread and then sharing it with Grandpa. It's just so sweet. So anyways, I wanted to document these photos. I just have a few photos left in this album for 2000, so I want to finish them up. So the products that I'm going to use are, almost all of them are from Stampin' Up! Actually, I think all of them are from Stampin' Up! However, there are a couple that I think are retired. But in the product description, I will have a list of all of the currently available products. All right, so the patterned paper I've chosen is the Ornate Garden Specialty DSP. And I chose it because a lot of the colors kind of worked really well with the colors in the upholstery in the photo, since there isn't a lot of other color in the rest of the photos. So these are the three patterns primarily that I'm going to focus on. And this is a specialty paper, so there is some gold on the backs of most of these pages, not all of them, but most of them. Like, isn't that pretty? But I don't want to bring any gold into this layout, so I've chosen to use this side of the papers. And then I've also chosen, my background is going to be this piece of almost like a wood grain paper, and it is from the In Good Taste paper pack. And I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this measures 5 inches by 12 inches. And I was inspired by a layout that I saw on Pinterest where it had a bunch of circles punched from patterned paper down the side and then photos and a title. So that's kind of the idea that I'm going with. So I'm going to stick this down onto my wood grain paper. You could also do this the other way if you wanted to conserve this paper. You could use a 12 by 12 piece of white and then a larger piece of wood grain. But I'm just gonna go ahead and do it this way. And I have some adhesive here. Okay, so that's going to get lined up right with the edge. Let's try to make it straight here. Shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, there we go. All right, and then I've gone ahead and I've used my 1.5 inch circle punch because I found that that size works quite nicely so that I could get 3 across. Okay, so one of the things that I do when I decide what paper I'm going to work with, because I'm a big believer in coordination. That's why one of the reasons why I was drawn to Stampin' Up! Is I love when everything coordinates. So one of the things that I do when I pick a paper pack, if all of the papers are from the same paper pack, is I will go to my paper scraps and I'll pull out colors that kind of coordinate with it. So I've gone ahead and I've pulled out some of the colors. I think there is Old Olive as well, but I didn't want to bring in that olivey green. I wanted to stick with the minty green. So I pulled out Bumblebee, Mint Green, Early Espresso, and Terracotta Tile. And those are the, if I'm going to pull in some cardstock, those are the colors that I'll pull in. Okay. All right. And then you'll see this piece here, this has some fun texture. So I have, the way I store my scraps, they're in a filing cabinet and they're all my scraps go in there in alphabetical order. So I have a scrap bin for Mint Macaron, a scrap bin for Bumblebee, scrap bin, anything that is smaller, or anything that's smaller than 8.5 by 11 goes in that scrap bin, and that's where I go first to grab any cardstock that I need. And when I went in to grab some Mint Macaron, I found this piece that was obviously left over from a previous project, and I didn't end up using it. So it is embossed using the tin tile embossing folder. And then what I had done is I had just rubbed some copper shimmer paint onto it to give it that really coppery, that copper feel, almost like an aged or a rustic kind of tin tile look. And I loved it, and I thought it would work perfectly with this paper and with these photos. So I went ahead and I punched out some circles from that. So otherwise, all of the rest of my circles are from the patterned paper. So I'm just going to position these on here. I think I can get probably 7 down and 3 across. And you'll see that I do have some empty holes. And that's because I have a plan for those. So I'm just going to fuss with the positioning on these and then stick them down. And I'll speed it up so that you don't need to watch all that. Okay, so I think all of them, yeah, all of them are stuck down. So now what I want to do in here is I want them to be white, but I didn't want, I got a little bit of adhesive there. I didn't want it to just be white, and I didn't want to emboss it because many of them are close to the embossed macaron. So I thought what I would do is, what I was really looking for was, I was looking through my stamps to try to find one that was just an outline of a circle that would work about 1.5 inches, but I didn't have anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own. So I am just going to, I punched out a 1.5 inch white circle. It doesn't matter what it is because this is just going to be a template. And then I am using a black Sharpie pen, and I'm just going to use this as a guide and trace around it. And I'm going to do that for each one of these gaps. Okay, let's just join this up here. All right, so that fills in all of the circles. And my photos are going to go like that. My title will go here, and then I need to do some embellishing. And I just realized I didn't pull out any white cardstock, but we might be okay. Okay, never mind. I don't think I'll need white cardstock. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and adhere my photos. Let's see, do I want them a little bit lower? Yeah, I think I want them a little bit lower. I don't want them right in the center of the page. So I'm just using my T-square ruler so I can make sure I get it straight. And I'm not going to put adhesive too close to the edges, just in case I want to add any tuck-ins or anything. So now we are going to work on a title, and I want my title to be Want a Taste. So I am going to use this alphabet die set. This is the Playful Alphabet die. And I've gone ahead and I've cut it out of the word taste, out of Early Espresso. And I've used our self-adhesive sheets on the back so that I've created, so they're like stickers. Okay, so I'm just figuring out the positioning because I want to use something different. Let's spell it right. For the Want A. Okay, and then I've got the question mark. I'll leave the dot for now just so that I don't lose it. Okay, I think I like that. I'm okay with that overlapping, and I like it lined up right with the edge of the cardstock rather than having that little bit of white showing if I moved it over. So it works perfectly just tucked under there, and I can fit the rest on there. Okay, so now for the Want A, I've got this labeler alphabet set, which was one of my favorite alphabet sets. Stampin' Up! No longer carries it, unfortunately, but I love it because it's got kind of that distressed look, and there's a couple different options. So I want it to stand out because that stands out quite a bit. I want to use this one because it's a bit more bold, and I think I'm going to do it in the terracotta tiles, so this color, but I'm going to do it on white. So I do have a little scrap. This should be big enough. I'll grab a little block, and then I will go ahead and stamp with terracotta tile ink. And grab my cleaner, so that's handy. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and speed up this section. So a couple things I wanted to point out. First of all, you can see that this set is really well loved. These letters are not super sticky on the back, but there is a solution to that. What you can do is these are clear stamps, or photopolymer stamps is what Stampin' Up! Calls them, and you can just run them under warm water and clean the back off, like clean them off. Just make sure, especially with small images like this, you have your plug down so that you don't wash them down the drain, and then they'll stick perfectly well. Again, I just haven't taken the time to do that right now. The other thing is I love alphabet sets and dies like this so that I don't have to worry about ever having to run out of letters or I don't have them in the right color. I can stamp them in whatever color I want. I know it's going to coordinate, and I don't have to worry about running out of those popular letters that you always seem to run out of when you use alphabet stickers. So I absolutely love that about rubber stamps and dies. Okay, so now I am just cutting around these. Now let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do for embellishing. I have this, The Good Things in Life Are Better With You, and I thought that would be so cute to add to this. So I love to look through my stamps and just kind of see what greetings tend to be, created for cards, but that you can actually turn around and often use on your scrapbook layouts, or even use bits and pieces of. Okay, so now I need to determine what color. Do I want to bring in the terracotta, or maybe I'll bring in some yellow. I think yellow might be nice. Let's try it in terracotta because I might want to bring in some yellow ribbon. Okay, and I'm going to grab some early espresso ink. So I'm going to do it in the brown so I can pull in the brown. Just ink that up. Stamp it on there. And then let's see, will the 1.5 inch circle punch work with that? I think it's going to be a little bit too small. Okay, let me see if I can find another punch that might work with that. Okay, I think I want to bring in the circles onto this side. So I grabbed a 2-inch circle punch. I'm not worried about getting the whole thing on a circle because it's going to get tucked behind the photo anyways. So that worked perfectly with a 2-inch circle punch. And then I can just slide that in there like that. Okay, and then Also from this, I thought butterflies would be a really cute accent on here. So I chose this one, and so it's actually both a big one and a little one. And I'm going to do tone on tone stamping. So I'm going to ink up the butterfly with Bumblebee and then stamp on Bumblebee cardstock. And then you know that Stampin' Up! Is all about coordination. So of course there's a punch that coordinates with this that will allow us to punch it out. That is, I believe it's called the Butterfly Duet Punch. So I can just flip it over upside down and line it up. And I've got some beautiful butterflies. Let's not mess up my title here. Okay, now there is, in the stamp, the stamp set, there are bodies for both the big butterfly and the small butterfly, but I'm not going to stamp those. I'm going to do something else for the bodies when we're ready for that. But what I am going to do to give a bit more dimension is I'm just going to take my bone folder and curl it a little bit. And I think this is going to go, I'm just going to kind of try to decide where I want them to go. Okay, and then I've also gone ahead and I stamped that same butterfly, except I stamped it on some white cardstock. I'm not sure if I want to use both. I did it with the terracotta tile, but then I also did it with the bumblebee. I don't know which one I prefer. It's a lot more subtle with the color on the white. I don't necessarily need a butterfly in each one of these. I'm just kind of fussing with it. And that's where it will likely take me the longest, is you'll probably just see me fussing with all of this, trying to decide what I want to do here. Okay, so I've pulled out a piece of vellum because I want to see if maybe layering these butterflies, it's not quite, I'm not getting the look I was looking for. So I'm just going to play around with seeing if I like them layered with the vellum so they're a little softer. Or maybe the cardstock ones layered with the vellum, or maybe that. Okay, I really like the way that looks, so I'm going to do that there. I'm going to save these white ones for a different project. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use just a little mini glue dot to stick these tiny little butterflies in the center. I have these black, although now that I think of it, I'm using brown. I think that's still okay. I'm going to use some black enamel dots down the center as the body of the butterflies. So I will use 2 big ones and a small one for the large butterflies. Then in these circles, that I believe that is where I'm going to do my journaling. I thought that that would be cute to add my journaling in there. Now I'm just going to see. Yeah, I think I want to add that there. So I'll wait and add adhesive to that one until after I've stuck down my title. Okay, so grab my tweezers, which are here somewhere. And I'm going to line up the T first because that's the one that I want in a specific spot. So I can just, by using those self-adhesive sheets, I can just peel off the backing and they are stickers. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. All right, so this would also, it depends on how long the story is that I have to tell, because this would also be a great spot to add in some journaling. So I will just finish this off on camera and then I'll come back and I'll share some close-up photos with you. All right, so here is the finished layout. So you can see that I decided to do a couple things a little bit differently. In here, instead of adding some journaling, what I did was I used Tim Holtz ideology. This one is small talk. And I just chose a couple relevant, well, 3 relevant stickers from there and cut them apart. They were on one big long strip, so I just cut them apart and made them fit into those circles. And I love how that kind of really pops. And then I added my journaling in here. So let me bring it up a little closer so you can have a look. And that's it. So if you guys enjoyed that video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you want to incorporate more stamping on your scrapbook layouts, be sure to check out my Scrapbooking with Stamps class, which I will have linked in the description below. All right, thanks so much for watching.